Klint Kubiak, the one-year offensive coordinator with the Seattle Seahawks, is reportedly going to be the next Raiders coach.
Yeah.
This is an odd situation because technically they can't offer them the job until after the Super Bowl. He can't accept it until after the Super Bowl. It creates the possibility of a Josh McDaniels about face, which would be perfectly acceptable if it happens, because it's just like with a trade. You know, we'll hear about trades that are done before the league year opens. Either team can back out until the league year opens. So either side can back out. I don't think the Raiders would, because where else would they go at this point? And it would make them look weird if all of a sudden they do a 180 on Klint Kubiak. But Klint Kubiak, I'm not saying he will. All I'm saying is it happened 8 years ago, and I don't think it will, though, because one of the reasons for Klint Kubiak to move on is the possibility of a new owner, and things change. The vibe changes.
Sure.
Like, this is my chance. My window's open. The Raiders are looking. And it's kind of felt for a week now, ever since the NFC Championship, it's felt like Kubiak is going to end up
kind of knew this,
in Las Vegas.
Right? Yeah, it's one of those, again, I feel like for the last 10 days, I know I've been on radio in certain places and just going, it feels like Klint Kubiak's going to the Las Vegas Raiders. And I love the pick. I love the hire. I do. Again, I think out of the options that are out there, Klint Kubiak excites me the most, definitely. Right? What he's done with this football team, what he's done with Sam Darnold. We're in the offensive era, quarterback whisperer era. That's special, right? He's got great lineage as far as football. He comes from a football family, and Klint Kubiak, and his dad, Gary Kubiak, excuse me. So he's been around it forever. He's got experience not only this year, but last year was in Strugglesville being the offensive coordinator with the New Orleans Saints. And we know they had injuries and Derek Carr got hurt and whatever else, but they had some moments. But he's been there and done that and dealt with it. And then also was a pass game coordinator for the 49ers the year before that when they went to the Super Bowl and lost to the Chiefs. And I can just tell you from experience, like my buddy Kyle Shanahan, he doesn't make you the pass game coordinator unless he thinks you're legit. Like he's not just going to go, oh yeah, I knew your dad and I used to work for your dad, so I'll let you be there, right? No, you got to prove yourself in that environment right there. And I think, all of that stuff, plus working, under Mike Zimmer with the Minnesota Vikings before O'Connell got there and having some experience there, he's had a lot of different looks of how it can be done. And, there's the different ways and far to run the offense and all of that. And I think was clearly the best offensive mind and the most proven commodity out there left to be hired as far as that was concerned.
Gary Kubiak and Klint Kubiak will be the 10th father-son head coach pair in NFL history. And I've been trying to think of the others. The Shanahans, obviously. The Shulas.
Oh, good
because
one.
David Shula was the coach of the Bengals for 4 years, 92 to 96. There were the Nolans, Mike Nolan and his
good
dad.
Job. I would have never got that. You're right.
But that's where I'm kind of like, I really got to sit down and think about this.
I got to come back after commercial break and I'll choke under the pressure now.
Well, Bum and Wade.
Oh,
that's easy.
That's another good one. Right.
The Schottenheimers.
Oh,
gosh,
here we go. Damn, here we go.
These are so obvious.
They're easy.
I'm thinking it was some vague thing from the 20s and the 40s where it was like Pappy and Phil Van Winkle.
No, I think it's going to be more kind of in the last 20 to 30 years where we've seen like being Buddy and Rex. Right. It's family business. Right, there was a time where people were like, "Oh, this is crazy. They're family members and all this." But just like anything, I don't, you see lots of mom and pop stores handed down to the kids, whatever else. These kids, most of the times, they grew up like, I watch my dad be a coach. When he comes home, I pick his brain about being a coach. I can just tell you that from being around Kyle Shanahan. I mean, his mind, even though when we were at Texas and he was playing wide receiver, his mind was still on, I'm going to be a head coach one day and do that. And, being around Lane Kiffin a little and that same type of thing. Again, it's part of the family business. They're prepared for it. And then, of course, they have connections to get into the business and learn from the right people and grow their expertise. And I think that's what you're seeing from Klint Kubiak.
Monty wasn't a head coach, but Lane was.
Right.
Isn't that weird? Because I started to think of them.
Yeah, right.
The Callahans.
The Callahans, too. Holy crap. Yeah.
Gary, any others?
Yeah.
Any others? Pappy and Phil Van Winkle on the list.
But I'm happy for him. And
we would have eventually thought of all those. I'd like to think if we had time to sit down and discuss it without knowing that it makes
being on
for
live TV,
shitty radio and TV for us to be going, that we would have thought of it.
Right. But all this makes sense, right? I mean, the Raiders, as we know, they got a lot of work to do, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Decent O-line, running back. Okay, Gentry looked a little better at the end of the year. Receivers, they got nothing. It's Brock Bowers, and that's it. And when you look at it and go, wait, what he just did with Sam Darnold, well, we'd like you to do that with Mendoza, right? And that's, I mean, I think that just put it in. Don't even bother, don't even bother betting on this. Like, Mendoza's going to the Raiders, and he's going to play in an offense that's similar to Purdy or what you see Sam Darnold doing in Seattle, where it's going to be very actually similar to what he did in Indiana in a lot of ways. And that's where it's going to fit. It's going to be really smart, good decision maker, off play action pass, knows how to read the coverage, and almost without a blink of the eye, be able to read coverages and go into the next guy within the pocket. And that's where Mendoza's special, and I think that's where he'll fit Kubiak's offense really well, too.
The Fossils and the Morris.
Oh, damn, there's another one.
They keep trickling in.
Holy
They tell
crap.
me they're done, and they keep trickling in.
Yeah, right. I forgot that, younger Fossil was a head coach there for a little bit.
Interim head coach for a little while. I'm fascinated by the Kubiak hire because last year, after the Raiders shot their shot with Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
And then the question became, what are they going to do next? It was reported that Tom Brady did not want Sam Darnold. And could it be that in seeing what Darnold has done this year, Brady thinks it's not intrinsic to Darnold, it's Kubiak?
Yeah. I think so.
And I want that guy. That guy took a guy that I thought was just a guy and turned him into a Super Bowl quarterback.
Right. Well, and I can imagine Tom looking, and Tom knows football as we know. He knows quarterback play. And I can imagine
it has yet to manifest itself in the performance of the Raiders.
Well, yeah, but yet I could see him having a similar thought to what I'm talking about too. That there's some quarterbacks out here that are worthy of being really damn good quarterbacks, and they just haven't been put in the right spot yet. Right, and I think he could probably look at that and appreciate Sam Darnold, and then go, damn. And Klint Kubiak's the one that got it out of him, and not only got it out of him. I mean, come on, went 14-3, almost threw for 350 yards in the NFC Championship game, had 3 touchdowns. I mean, played awesome, and yes, and it's coming from the hottest coaching tree in the sport, right? Let's just be serious here. Let's be real about it. Everybody is looking for, did he work for Shanahan or McVay? Did he work for Shanahan and McVay? If he did, he's in the running for being a head coach. That's what we've gotten down to here the last few years, right? In the coaching search. Every year, there's 4 or 5 guys from that coaching tree.
Yeah,
every year.
Once rode an elevator with Sean McVay, you're hired.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're going to talk about Mike LaFleur. There's Robert Saleh. I mean, we've seen people go everywhere from those 2 organizations, and that's what everybody's looking for, and that goes why it's full circle that it's so cool here at Super Bowl 60, where it's like we got 2 teams in the Seahawks where they were like, we can't find another offensive genius, we need a defensive genius to stop McVay and Shanahan in the NFC West. They were like, okay, we got it. And then in the AFC, the Patriots were like, I mean, we got to deal with Mike McDaniel and the awesome offense of the Dolphins and what they do, and Josh Allen. And they were like, well, we can't find another Josh Allen or offensive mind like Mike McDaniel. Let's bring in Vrabel to combat it. And that's what they've done. And I think that's what's cool about this as well, that we're seeing a little curveball here.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.